All right, so you hooked up and you were wrapped in the bosom of your school teacher.
Yes, I was.
You left home.
Left home.
What was it like to be a young man with a fabulously sexy older
Very
woman?
sexy. Hot.
Did she show you what to do, or you had a few things to show her?
No, she showed me everything. Everything. I mean, I had sex before, but not like that. I remember us making love, and I remember her saying to me, these two words she used to say all the time when we made love. She used to always say these two words. I never forget it. Know what they were? Slow down.
Slow down.
So, I was a kid. I didn't know any better. So it took me about 20-some odd years before I finally slowed down.
20-some odd years. Now, we do assume that you didn't stay together that long.
Well, we were together for a while till I began to mature and realized I was in a situation that definitely wasn't right.
But you were married by then, by the time you figured that out, or had you actually figured that out before you got married and you married her anyway?
Well, actually, see, after a year, I realized I didn't want to be there. But I wasn't calling the shots at that point. She was calling the shots. So if she said, don't go, I don't go. She said, wake up, I wake up. She said, wash your dishes. I said, wash your dishes. She said, we're going to get married today. We're going to get married today. And that's just the kind of relationship we had. But that's the kind of relationship that any 16-year-old kid is going to have with a school teacher, is if they are calling the shots. And she called the shots.
But she couldn't marry you at 16, so when did it happen?
As soon as I turned 18.
As soon as you turned 18.
Well, she had said, once I turned 17 and a half, she told me. She said, when you turn 18, we get married. And I responded like, any other, 17-year-old kid dating a foxy school teacher. Okay. Okay. That's just the way it was.
What else were you getting out of it besides the sex? It had to be something.
I can't remember all that. Maybe it was, but I don't remember.
That's all you remember.
That's all I remember. I don't recall.
Okay. So you got married.
No, but you know what? I'm going to tell you something. You know what? But she was a good woman to me. I mean, anything I wanted, she was there. I mean, she took care of me. She took care of me like a mom would take care of her child, or a tiger his cub. No, she took care of me. She was like my new mama. The only difference was we were screwing every night.
So it's rather dysfunctional mother-son relationship.
Exactly. But I liked it better than the old mother-son relationship.
Okay. So at what point you're in this relationship, you're married, you're going on one roller coaster ride after another roller coaster ride, and what happened?
Well, like I said, after a while, you get tired of roller coasters. You start throwing up and getting sick and, and having seizures. I just, after a while, I started maturing and started realizing that this was a situation I shouldn't have been in the first place. But what made me really realize it was, I started wanting things that she just didn't want. I was going through things that she'd already gone through. We were just on two different roads, trying to connect. And, in my mind, it just wasn't happening.
Was there any one particular event that happened that really affected the course of your life?
Well, when I was in high school, I had planned on going to Aurora University with two of my best friends. And we had planned this since our freshman year in high school. And I wanted to be a politician. And so my goal was to go to Aurora University, and I was going to do this. I mean, there were no ifs, ands, and buts. This is what we had decided to do, right? So my other two friends, they went on to Aurora University and got their degrees. But after my graduation, once I turned 18, my wife, she told me that I couldn't go. I couldn't go to Aurora University. And like I said, she was the boss. So she said, you can't go, you can't go. It's just like being on punishment. So she told me I couldn't go to Royal University. So okay, I couldn't go. So she told me I had to go to the school that was nearest to where we lived. And that's where I ended up going. And I dropped out in less than a year. And my friends, they went on to graduate and get their degrees and be professionals.
So you think it's possible that if you had gone on to school with them that you possibly could have graduated too?
There's not one doubt in my mind. So in my opinion, that's how that relationship has affected my entire life.
So do you think the fact that when she said that you couldn't go and insisted that you went locally, the fact that you didn't finish was because you were upset about it, or why couldn't you have just finished locally?
Well, you know what, my head wasn't right. Okay, think about this here. When my friends went to Aurora, they lived on campus. I was gonna live on campus. They lived on campus. I stayed at home, so I had that distraction of home. Then plus I got to school. I'm meeting people, meeting girls, and there was a distraction there. I just wasn't into school like I had planned on. It just was. I just didn't feel it. You know what I'm saying? I think had I moved to Aurora and lived on campus with my friend Eric and Alex, I think I would have been more focused. But also I'm at a place where I don't want to be. I had no intentions on going there. I was upset, and I didn't want to be there in the first place. So for me to drop out wasn't a big deal. I had a job and I was making some decent money, and I had to decide, my job or here or whatever. I just thought it was just best to just let it go.
Were there any other distractions that happened at the school that you went to?
Well, I met someone. And fell in love. But see, you have to understand something. When you're in a situation that you don't want to be in, it's very, very easy to find yourself in another situation, because it's almost anything is better. So I ended up meeting someone who wanted to be with me. I wanted to be with her. So we ended up being homeless for a while, sleeping in our cars because we wanted to be together. I couldn't take her home. Couldn't go to her house because she lived with her parents. So we ended up sleeping in my car for about 30 days until we got our own place.
And how long did you stay with her?
Not that long. Like I said, it was just to get into something else.
And how did this affect your marriage?
Well, of course, that ended my marriage. But the thing is after I left her, I found out that she was pregnant. Which was my ex-wife was pregnant, which was a big deal.
And did you develop a relationship with your son?
No, I saw the kid a few times. He's grown now, and we have no relationship at all whatsoever. I think the reason why is because he wants to protect his mom, because she's still teaching. 20-some odd years later, she's still teaching, and he wants to protect her. And you know what? I can't blame him, but he wants to protect her. So because of that, we don't have a relationship, none whatsoever. It really kind of hurts, but what can I do?
Do you ever regret having left them?
Well, I think that she was a good woman, and I think she would have been a good woman for a good man. But just that I was not a man. I was a boy. So had I met her as a man, I think we probably would have had an incredible relationship. But I met her as a boy.
So what do you think?
For that reason, it couldn't work out.
What do you think is like the moral of the story to this situation? Why are you coming out? Why do you feel the need to talk about this?
Because I want to tell a young man, you have to be careful. I mean, just because you think this is an incredible situation, it really can have an effect on your entire life. And this situation has had an effect, a negative effect on my entire life. And so, it may be fun, it may be, you're enjoying the ride, but it can really, impact your entire life. It's like everything that you do. You have to think about the future, think about tomorrow, right? And don't do something today that you're going to regret tomorrow. And if you do that, chances are you're going to regret it tomorrow. So think twice before you get involved in a situation like that.